And tonight, we have the privilege of having Anthony Doerr.
Doerr's back with an even more ambitious book, Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Finally unleashed his new work on the world, and he
wrote a book that set the fiction world on fire.
The Pulitzer was awarded for All the Light We Cannot See. It spent more than 200 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list, and Netflix is adapting it into a limited series. In 2003, at the time he was getting rave reviews for his first book, The Shell Collector. Fast forward 20 years and 5 more books, and Anthony Doerr is one of the most recognizable names in American fiction.
Tony and I met when we taught together at the Tin House workshops in Portland. Almost from the beginning, I was just struck by this combination of kindness and good humor, but also a sort of sense of purpose about writing. When you read his fiction, you are getting a sort of distilled Anthony Doerr. You're reading someone who cares so passionately about both the natural world and human beings and finding a way for them to blend.
He is absolutely fascinated and curious how walls are built, what roles they play. He's so driven to understand the world and so driven by curiosity as well as compassion.
The combination of his work ethic and his personality have deeply contributed to his success.
One of the great joys of working with Tony has been to just watch how his mind works, watch how he takes the kernel of an idea and finds worlds of story around it.
He's also got a kind of quiet competitive side, almost as if he's competitive with himself. You aren't measuring yourself against, what this writer is doing or what that writer is doing, but against what you're capable of doing. And those two sides of him make him kind of uniquely qualified to do what he does.
He's always gracious, modest, and I think he brings out the best in people.
I think the biggest piece of growth was just watching what happened with All the Light. And it just took off in a way that was thrilling, but I think really extreme. And so Tony had been working as a writer for his whole career, and he had this sudden, very intense fame and spotlight, and he managed it really beautifully.
He's got this genuine sense of kindness and curiosity and wonder, and he can be like your most excitable friend when that curiosity is piqued.
Did an enormous amount of his reading in libraries as a child, and they were a source of his reading all through his life. They've been incredibly helpful to him in his researching, and he's a great believer in expressing gratitude and paying back.
He's someone who puts kindness out into the world, kind of sees that as a motivating piece of all of his work, big and small, on the page and in real life. I can't really think of anything that the world needs more of at the moment.